What is up, YouTube? I am back, and we are here in DaVinci Resolve 19, and there are tons of cool new features in here, as we all already probably know. There's been tons of different tutorials on everything that's in the new DaVinci Resolve 19, and today we're going to go over the Film Look Creator. I love this. I think that it's going to be a great tool for content creators to pump out really cool looks really fast and not having to go through the whole entire color grading process. For just like social clips, things maybe that doesn't need to be fine-tuned as much as like a commercial, a documentary, a film. Let's get into it. Sorry to ramble on there a little bit. I know y'all hate that. So here we are. We got two different clips here. This one already has kind of a look to it, but we'll play into that. And here's one that's just kind of Rec 709. Everything's evenly exposed, as we can see. So shooting your footage properly does play into the color grade, as most people know. But anyways, let's start breaking this down. So let's turn that off. We're going to come up to our effects tab, and we're going to type in film, and it's already here, Film Look Creator. We want to drag and drop. And because we want a couple other nodes in here just in case we need to make adjustments, we're going to hit Shift and S. And this is going to make like nodes prior to the one that we just dropped that Film Look Creator on. And the reason we want to drop them in before, if we have to adjust our white balance, if we have to adjust our exposure, anything of that nature, we'd want to do that before we put this Film Look Creator on and bake all that information into the image. So now if we select the Film Look Creator, if you look at these presets, there's tons of different presets. I love them all. My go-to one is the 35mm. I just love the grain from that. But if you need to crop in and you want a little bit of a cleaner look, default 65mm is great. That grain is super clean and it's not super aggressive. And one of my favorite ones is this nostalgic. Because if you just scroll through this, even if you see that, there's like a little flicker on that. And it's one of the best nostalgic or like vintage, quickly just drag and drop presets I've seen yet, and I love it. However, we're going to start with default 35mm. We can do color blend options here in the effects blend. So that's like going to just control pretty much like your global adjustments back, like if you like mess with anything like film blur or anything like that, or lens blurs and like Gaussian blurs. Like it's kind of like your global adjustment for the color, global adjustment for the overall effect. All right, so now we move on to the color space override. This is like a color space transform. So if you wanted to put like a color space transform here and bring this from like, if it was shot on a Sony, so like S-Log3, bring it into DaVinci color space, you could come here and convert it out of the DaVinci color space and then back into Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. However, this was already shot in Rec 709, so I'm not going to mess with this on this shot. And if you're shooting in a log, you could just convert from log to Gamma or Rec 709 with this as well. So if you wanted to not bring it into a different color space, you could just do it all right here as well. All right, so now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. And now you can adjust your exposure with these sliders, your contrast, highlights, the fade. I love being able to control the fade like this because that's pretty, it's a cool way to make things look a little softer in the shadows. I wouldn't use contrast and exposure in your highlights so much on this. If it's me personally, I'd like to come back to my second node that I have here and do it there, just because it's going to be it's just going to be more clean and controllable that way. However, this does work if you don't want to list out a bunch of different nodes. We can control our tint. Again, if it was me, I would do it in a node and not on here. But again, do y'all saying skin bias. Don't really ever mess with that a whole lot, but experiment. Why not? If you wanted to make it black and white, now that's something that I wouldn't necessarily mind doing right here. But again, I'd probably create a look node and go ahead and do that and then go into this. But again, to stay fast and efficient and not have to, worry about what I want to say, like building all these nodes out and doing all this stuff and copying it from one image to the next, you could do all of this stuff in here. We got richness. That's just pretty much going to be like your vibrance or your color boost. Don't ever really mess with that. Again, in bleach bypass, if you want to make it bleach bypass, you can control the amount of that. which is really cool for certain looks. But if you're not going for like that kind of look, then obviously don't mess with it. Split tone. This is really cool. This is going to take a lot of the guesswork out between using your wheels or stuff like that, and it's going to be quick. So we can push the amount. So it's going to pretty much separate your shadows from your highlights, and we can control the hue if you want to make it look super vintagey, like like you're working with some weird film that maybe got damaged or whatever it is, like just like that. Like that looks pretty gnarly right there, and we can control the pivot. However, we're going to go back to where it was. And same with like all of these things we can just control like through the minute versus just using the preset. So if we go to halation, I definitely want halation enables, and I like to increase that. You just kind of like play with these sliders and see what it looks like. See what works well for you. Bloom, amount of bloom. Come here, grain. We already have our 35 millimeter grain. I'm happy with where it's at. Flickers enabled. We can control the amount. Let's raise that up just a little bit more. So when we come here, already this is looking like a film, because we're going to go for this vintage film look on this. If we go gate weave, we can leave that. I don't know if I really want to mess with that. And then this is really, really cool. This is going to give us access to like all these different film gates. Now this is what I was talking about. Is it makes things so simple. And I'm like a big fan of the Super 16. I love that, especially for like home video style stuff. 35 millimeter is really, really cool as well. I'm a big fan of 35 millimeter. I love that they give us this 240. That's kind of nice if you're working in that aspect ratio. It's nice to have that ability to do that. We got Super 8, which is really awesome. I mean, all these are really cool, and you can customize them and do whatever you want. But let's roll with this right now. And then we got our global blend. So if you didn't want all of this here, obviously we could do it. But just with that one node, look what we created. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's like a vintagey. I might go back up and like add my radius and my bloom a little bit more, and the amount of halation I might add more to. And I mean, come on. Let's go full screen on that. That looks pretty cool to me. And it plays back super smooth, which in DaVinci, like if you're using noise reduction, anything else like that, you know that it doesn't always play back smooth, but I think that's pretty badass if you ask me. So we'll stop that, get out of full screen. And now, in theory, if we take this from this clip to here, I mean, already this looks really cool. I think what I would do is bring down this exposure. I'd come back to my second node and bring that exposure down just a little bit. And I mean, right off the bat, this looks awesome. I mean, it's that simple of just copying and pasting from one shot to the other and making small, minute adjustments. And maybe we come in and mess with the split tone on here as well. Let me find that again. Split tone. Let's just see like the hue angle. Let's create something wild here. So like something like right, I mean, that's kind of where we were at before, but I mean, that's kind of a cool look right there. So let's make this full screen. I mean, look at that. And just like that, we have this cool film look. So I think this film look creator overall is going to be crucial to any content creator, but also it's going to be another tool in the bag for all like professional colorists. I know that you can do all this with like Dehancer, and I'm a big Dehancer fan, and I still personally would choose Dehancer over the film look converter. However, being able to do all this in one node and being able to pump it out fast and quick, and you don't need to go then buy Dehancer, for most content creators and most videographers, or this is going to be great. This is going to put you ahead of the curve if you can learn how to master this film look creator, whereas some people are just pumping out not so good like Rec 709 looks. So like being able to set yourself apart and create a style for yourself is going to be great. So I love this film look creator. I'm going to be using it heavily and learning it more and more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if y'all want to see a breakdown of how I would use this on a music video that I would shoot or any of the commercials that I've shot, let me know and I'll show you how I do that. And I'll show you how I also utilize Dehancer maybe in compared to this, if that's something y'all are interested in. interested in. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we're back at it with these tutorials. I also have music video vlogs coming, and yeah, I'm ready to get back at it and then bring in the camera crew. All right, so thank you guys. Love y'all. I'm going to catch you in the next one.